Thank God. We just crowned our new NXT champion, and it's Joe Hendry. And while he wasn't my first choice, he is certainly the best second option I could have asked for, because I really did not want Ricky Saints to win that championship. Nothing against the guy, he's good, but I don't want to see him be NXT champion. So having Joe Hendry as NXT champion, it's gonna be great, especially since as a TNA watcher, his TNA World Heavyweight Championship reign was awful. And I trust HBK, I trust the NXT crew, I trust that they're gonna give him a great reign. So finally seeing Joe Hendry have the opportunity to be a great champion is something I've literally been begging for over a year. So I'm so hyped for this. And outside of just Joe Hendry winning, which I think was probably the perfect result for this match, the match itself was really good. A lot of entertaining spots, just fun. I love ladder matches. They're probably one of my favorite matches of all time, even if sometimes they do get a bit repetitive with the spots. I don't care. It was just a whole lot of fun, and it really showed off this new era of talent on NXT. Pretty much everybody had a great showing. Keanu Carver, Shiloh Hill, Jackson Drake, Sean Legacy did fine. I think everybody had a nice moment to really show themselves off to the crowd, and I think it's a relatively memorable match if you're someone that frequently watches NXT. But now we need to talk about the other news that's been going on about NXT. If you didn't know, Ava recently left WWE, so she's no longer the NXT GM, and like, good for her. She's standing on business, and I agree with her views, so good for her. But I will say is that Robert Stone is now the interim replacement for her, and I think that's a wonderful addition. I don't think he should be the primary option. Someone in my comments said it should be Andre Chase, and I'm low-key really down for that. I think that could be really cool. And obviously there's a lot of other wildcards that you can throw out, but for the moment I think Robert Stone is a good option. I mean, he's done so much for NXT as a management figure, as a manager, that I think seeing him in this type of position should be really fun, and I think he really deserves it. So I'm excited to see how he does. Even if it's not permanent, I think it's fun if for just a few months. I think that's more than enough time to have a bit of fun with this until we find a solid replacement. The opening match though is for the Women's North American Championship. They don't even get entrances, which was wild, crazy disrespect, but it's Izzy Dame defending against Thea L, defending against Lola Vice. And man, okay, during the middle of this match, Kalani Jordan came down to the ring and she attacked Lola Vice. I'm done with this feud, right? The women's division is stacked, it's on fire, but the Lola Vice Kalani Jordan feud has kinda run its course. I don't want to see more of it. I think both women should move on to different things. I'm not really interested in seeing this feud progress. It was a fun mid-card feud, but it seems like we're, going with something that doesn't really have legs to keep running. Now, Izzy Dame does retain, which is a solid result. Similarly to the Kalani Jordan Lola Vice feud, I'm kind of over the whole Tatum Paxley Izzy Dame thing. It still certainly feels like we're going to go that route, and Tatum Paxley is eventually going to win that belt. But yeah, like the other feud that was built up during this match, I feel like, this feud's just run its course also. So while I'm excited for the match, and I'm excited to hopefully see Tatum Paxley have a solid reign with a championship, I also just want this feud to get over with. So it kind of sucks, right? I love the women's division, but I definitely feel like we need a bit of a new faces. I feel like a lot of these women should be on the main roster already. Should have been on the main roster, like Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Tatum Paxley even, although she's great on NXT. They all feel like people who should be and could be on the main roster. It's not that I don't want them on NXT. I love them on NXT. Just feel like, we don't really need them here anymore. They're good. They're ready to go. And then we have a match for the Speed Tournament Championship, which is Elio LaFleur picking up a victory against Charlie Dempsey. I should note that if you enjoy speed matches, good for you. I'm happy Elio LaFleur won. Low-key is my pick to win this tournament. But yeah, you guys know I don't like the speed matches. I'm kind of done with the concept, but worth noting, just acknowledging it, and we'll see where it goes. Following that up is ZaRuca and Zarya have kind of a confrontation backstage. They're really not getting along. And leading up to the match for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships against the By Elegance brand, Zarya actually pushes ZaRuca down during her entrance. During the match, she refuses to tag in ZaRuca, and ZaRuca even accidentally soul snatches Zarya, and this all leads to the By Elegance brand winning. Yeah man, it sucks because it's very clear the end is near for ZaRuca, and they've been my favorite tag team, men or women, over the past year, right? I've absolutely enjoyed their dynamic, I've enjoyed their friendship, but it seriously feels like we're heading to the end of it right now, and that sucks, but I get why we're gonna do it. And then later on during the night, we have JC Jane who wants to call out ZaRuca because ZaRuca eliminated her at the Royal Rumble, but Zarya walks out first. Zarya says ZaRuca has opportunities constantly handed to him, and nah, this time Zarya's taking that opportunity. But Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair also come out because Kendall Gray wants another opportunity, and then ZaRuca comes out. She's trying to mediate everything, but Robert Stone ultimately decides that next week there will be a tag team match between ZaRuca and the Ren QCC, where whoever wins the match for their team will get a shot at JCJ. Now, my ultimate prediction in this is ZaRuca and Zarya do not get along at all during this match, and they end up costing the match for each other. While Ren Sinclair really wants Kendall Gray to win that championship, she's such a great friend that she will allow Kendall Gray to pick up the victory for their team. Kendall Gray will go on to take that championship from JCJ, and heavens, please let that happen. And then, you know, we head to Stand and Deliver with the end of ZaRuca and Zarya, and that's what I think is gonna happen. And if that's what happens, great. I would be down for both views. I want Kendall Gray to win that NXT Women's Championship, and you know, I'm finally ready to accept that ZaRuca and Zarya are not gonna be the Fraxium who just keeps teaming up despite their differences. It's over. Then we finally have Tony D'Angelo addressing what this is all about, and he says that he had to take some time away to remind himself who he really is, an NCAA athlete. He's the former North American champion, former tag team champion, former Heritage Cup champion. They acknowledge the Heritage Cup, so my push for the Heritage Cup to still be active, that exists. We are not accepting that the Heritage Cup is dead. Tony D'Angelo just confirmed it. Maybe I'm just delusional, but he says that he's back for two reasons. One of them is to destroy Dark State, as Dark State cost him everything, and the second reason, we'll find out when he's done with Dark State. So I assume it either has something to do with stacks, or possibly it just has to do that he wants to go and get the NXT Championship. Either way, I'm loving this new version of Tony D'Angelo. It's really a character change that he's needed. Unlike everybody else, I did think his whole Don gimmick could have worked on the main roster, but I do understand why they need to do something different, because it is a risky gimmick to go to the main roster. So trying something new with him, something more accessible, makes sense. Plus it's cool, he's actually a badass. He's not like one of those gimmicks where it's clear they're trying to be a badass. He actually feels like a badass. This is really good for him. And then this is not the main event, but this is the last part of the show that we are talking about, kind of because we did the show so out of order. It is the fact that Chase U goes up against Lexis King and Stacks in a tag team match. Chase U kind of has some squabbles, they don't fully get along, and after the match, which is won by Lexis King and Stacks, Uriah Connors leaves Chase U to team up with them. It makes sense. I believe he's the son of Fit Finley, which like I never realized that, but that's cool. It really seems like they're building the second legacy of second generation wrestlers, which is cool. I think that could be a really fun faction. Plus it both makes Uriah Connors a lot more interesting because Chase U hasn't really worked out, and it makes the Outlaws also a lot more interesting because they're actually recruiting people, and they've been fairly entertaining over the past few weeks. So it's a decision I'm totally cool for. I'm excited to see where this all goes, because objectively there's so many more people they could still technically recruit to this faction. Although I don't want it to get bloated, they certainly are more interesting than the other big factions in NXT like Dark State, so I'm not against it. And that's the end of the show. If I had to give it a rating, I'm gonna say it was a 8 out of 10. Really good show, really saved by the main event and everything that happened between Zarya and ZaRuca. The rest of the show was fine, but a lot of it was just stuff me personally I didn't care about, like the Women's North American Championship scene, like the whole speed stuff. I get it, it's entertaining, it's fine, it doesn't make me hate the show, I watch it. It's just right now I'm slowly losing interest in all of that, so it kind of brings the show down a little bit for me. But there is a lot of hope going forward, and I don't think the show is bad whatsoever. So it is a good 8 out of 10. If you like this review, please leave a like, subscribe. I cover NXT, TNA, and Evolve every single week. I also have a podcast with PUWF where we sit and talk about Evolve for about 2 hours every day, sometimes an hour and a half if we're lucky. You should tune out. There's a lot of cool people there that also cover wrestling that you would really like. So leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Do all that YouTube stuff. Goodbye, everyone.